Hello and welcome to a new video. Today I thought I would go over a little bit on my painting process and how I go about doing some of my sketchbook paintings. This video is going to be going over like a sketchbook painting that is not using any references, it's just all from imagination, and it's going to look very similar to some of my other paintings in that it's a night scene with pink clouds and then a like orangey yellow foreground. So what I do to start these paintings is I pick out my color palette first. My go-to color palette is Juan Brilliant, Night Blue, Pink, Opera Red, and sometimes Coral Pink. The pinks are going to be one of those three generally. This time I picked pink, which is like a fluorescent, because I wanted a little bit of a pop to come through against the night blue in the background. Before I even start the painting process though, I have to sketch out my idea, and I usually do this in probably like 30 minutes max. I try to do something very quick. I just draw a line that's 1/3 down the page or down the sketch I want to do, and then for the clouds, I don't choke my pencil, so I don't hold it like the way I'm holding the paintbrush here. I hold the pencil at the very back, and I just let my hand flick around to get more abstract shapes. I've noticed if I try to be more intentional and I try to actually draw the clouds, it doesn't turn out as good. It looks too forced in my point of view. But back to painting, I like to do the background first because I think it will help me with doing the clouds. If I do the clouds first and then the sky, it doesn't always look right, and my clouds are usually a bit more transparent. I like using night blue as the background because a lot of mine are night scenes, and I think it helps make this pink pop pretty well. For the pinks, I mix a little bit of the night blue to get that purple near the base, and then near the top of the page, or where it thins out kind of, I add a little bit more of the Juan Brilliant to, I think it's the Opera Red that I used mostly for this cloud. And then I add just little tiny brush strokes of little pieces of the cloud kind of like floating off of the main part, kind of to show that there's a little bit of wind moving and making the scene look a little bit more dynamic, even if it's in a two-dimensional space. Next, I love painting the foreground with this Juan Brilliant color. I don't tend to focus on shadows with these type of paintings because I kind of just want the scene not to look realistic at all, and so everything has this just basic backdrop, I guess, and then I add little pieces of shadow, like nothing's intentional with the lighting is what I'm trying to say. But I do need to make the foreground a bit more interesting, so I have to add something to it. Originally I was going to do cows, but I didn't want to put too much time into that, and so I decided to do these really simple shaped houses where they're all kind of positioned the same way, so again it looks like a pretty flat painting. And then I add a little bit of shrubbery by just kind of dabbling my brush around. I don't have like any intentional marks that I'm trying to make. I'm just trying to make it look a little bit abstract because that's how nature is. And then to make things look a bit more fun and unique, I tend to paint all the houses in different colors. And so some of them have the blue roofs, some have yellow like siding, and then I alternate that. That way it looks a little bit more unique and not as cookie cutter. And my favorite part is adding these tiny details that are just very simple, but adding little windows to the houses to make them look a bit more lively, adding a little like purple road that goes through this little like desert type scene. I think that adds a little bit more personality too, because now it kind of feels like this is a place that people live. I really like painting this way because I can't really tell if it's supposed to be like a winter scene or a desert scene, because that could be snow that's just painted yellow, or it could be like actual sand. I don't know, I just really like that. I've also added some stars to the sky by using this glittery paint and also just flicking it on with a very wet paintbrush, which I've never done before, and it actually worked out pretty well this time. These color palettes work so well together, and it gives the painting a very whimsical feeling. It's very fantastical and not anything that's at all realistic, but I just love painting like this. It calms me down. I don't have to think too much about anything that I'm doing because the colors just work so well together. And that's honestly why I use this palette so often with this type of painting scenery. I know how the colors work together. I know what colors to bring to the front and what colors to use for the background, especially for the mountains. And it just feels right to me. Doing this type of painting is really fun for me. It's super simple to make. I like to do this when I have kind of like an art block or when I don't have a lot of time to paint. It's also really nice because if I wanted to, I could kind of stretch this painting out and make the sides repeat. Like if I wanted to make this one in the washi tape, I could. It would be pretty cool. It just looks really nice, and I'm completely in love with paintings that look like this right now. Something you might be able to tell, because I'm using gouache, you can get really like patchy colors, so the sky isn't all just one matte night blue color. You can see a little bit of purple peeking through, a little bit of streakiness, but it just works for scenes like this for me, and it just doesn't detract from the painting. That's why I like working in gouache recently. And I should have said this at the beginning, the gouache I'm using is the Turner acrylic gouache. It's my all-time favorite gouache to use, and it just gives me exactly what I want every single time I paint with it. I recommend just grabbing a few tubes if you can. They're not that expensive compared to other gouache. These tubes last a very long time. I've had these for over a year. Still nowhere near done with them. I hope you enjoyed this video. This was a very quick spread, a very quick rundown on how I paint these type of paintings. And I also hope that you enjoy watching Mochi play because she needs attention badly right now. Again, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you like this type of painting style. And yeah, thank you again, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!